Hey, what's up? Alright, so this video is about a really awesome way to remember the quadratic formula that I learned from my professor a couple years ago, and I've never forgotten it, so I thought that I would share it with you. Ready for this? A negative boy couldn't decide whether he should go to a radical party, but being square, he decided not to go. He missed out on 4 awesome chicks. Party was not over until 2 a.m. Boom. Quadratic formula.
First, you start off with the equation 3x squared equals 2x minus 5. To get them all on one side, you subtract the 2x and add the 5 from both sides. To get 3x squared minus 2x minus 5 equals 0. Since it is not factorable, you will put it into the quadratic equation formula to get x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5, all divided by 2 times 3. Then you'll simplify it all and get 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 56 over 6. Since negative 56 is a negative, you will pull out an I out of there and factor it, so you get 2 plus or minus 4i to the square root of 4 divided by 6. And finally, after you factor it all, you will get 1 plus or minus 2i to square root of 14, all divided by 3.
So for the first problem, you're going to want to subtract, or you're going to want to add the 6x plus 1 to get it onto that side. So we're going to have 7x squared plus 6x plus 1. So you're going to want to plug it into the formula because there's nothing that equals 6 that multiplies to equal positive 7. So we're going to plug it into the formula and get negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6x squared minus 4 times 7 times 1 over 2 to the 7th. So then you're going to want to multiply the inside and square root it, simplify it to get negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 8 over 14, which equals negative 6 plus minus 2 to the square root of 2 because you want to simplify the 8 squared over 14. So then when you simplify this, you reduce it to get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 2 over 7, which then will give you x equals negative 0.227 and x equals negative 0.631. So we started with the equation 15x squared plus 7x minus 4 equals 0. And since it's not factorable, you have to plug it into the quadratic equation, which will give us negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 7 squared minus 4 times 15 times negative 4 over 2 times 15. So when you simplify that, it will be negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 289 over 30. Next, you want to reduce your square root and get negative 7 plus 17 over 30, and you will also get negative 7 minus 17 over 30 because of the plus or minus. So when you go down to reduce for the first one, you will get 10 over 30, which also reduces to 1 over 3rd as one of your answers. And the next side, you will get negative 24 over 30, which also reduces to negative 4 over 5 as your final answer.
2 in square.
We'll be finding how far a ball will be thrown at any given time. Your height will start out as 0 because the ball will land at 0, and time is any time. You will change the height to 0 to make it easier for you later, and then you will switch up the order so then you don't have to worry about your t squared being in the whole way back and getting mixed up. And next you'll pull out a negative 1 and out of your equation, so then you don't have to deal with the negative 1 in front of your t squared. Then you will divide the negative 1 by both sides because 0 divided by negative 1 is 0. And then you will factor by multiplying 5t to the squared and negative 3 and finding a point where that equals negative 14. So 5 times 3 is 15. You find negative 14 negative 15 times 1, and negative 15 plus 1 will equal negative 14 and negative 15. Then you will pull out, you will separate them, and so you'll have separate t squared and negative 5t from t minus 3. And so you will pull out a 5t out of this right here, and then you'll be left with t minus 3 on that side. And on this one, you can only pull out a 1 out of the equation, so you'll be left with t minus 3. Then you'll bring out your t minus 3 out into the end product, and then add 5t plus 3 into the other solution. And then you will equal 5t plus 1 equals 0. And so then it will equal 5t minus 0 equals negative 1 divided by the 5, and 5 and t will equal negative 1/5. In the other one, you will do t minus 3 equals 0, add 3 on both sides to get t equals 3.